a lot of people don't imagine just how much Armenia, and I would say Eastern Europe in general, has gone through for the last 45 years. A tumultuous, sudden shift from socialism to capitalism after the USSR collapsed, and a lot of things came out of that. An earthquake in 1988 that took away about 30,000 lives, according to different calculations. Armed conflicts, major armed conflicts. The first Nagorno-Karabakh War is an example, lasting from 1988 to 1994. Even Armenia's prime minister and the speaker were assassinated in 1999 inside the parliament. So just to point to just how much has happened there. There's never a boring day in Armenia. You name it, we've seen it. And in 2020, there was another war during the pandemic. And according to different calculations, all these wars in the region from all different sides took away 50,000 human lives, if not more. And what's important here is to realize that one way to put it would be there's a collective consciousness in Eastern Europe. There are a lot of variables included. There are geopolitical interests, military aspects. What we're seeing right now in Ukraine, it didn't just start in one day. There were other conflicts. There were similar things happening within Ukraine, around Ukraine. So all these, I think that all of that is interconnected, and what we're witnessing is just a side effect of how low our global level of consciousness is. What we have to realize is that unless we're all happy and at peace, nobody's at peace. And you can see with mass migration that even if you live far away from all these areas where there's a conflict or anything, it's a butterfly effect. It influences everyone. And Armenia is right now, once again, is a crossroad between a lot of different geopolitical interests, economic interests, and so forth. So over the years, Armenia has been trying to use different solutions. And transcendental meditation was originally imported to Armenia in 1989. They actually have a podcast episode about that. And 30,000 people learned TM. And you can speak more about this because this is your area of expertise. But essentially, there was a major PTSD. There still is a major PTSD within the country. I mean, just the videos that we have seen, the war crimes that have been talked about, a mother loses her child in war, and then that pain keeps on circulating. So transcendental meditation after the earthquake of 1988 was extremely helpful in overcoming that PTSD. And one thing I want to add, in spite of all these things that I've mentioned, Armenia has actually emerged as an island of democracy with a really high rate of economic turnout. And I think that this has to do with the fact that collectively we're starting to develop a resilience, some sort of a capacity to transmute all that pain, all these challenges into something brand new, because there is no alternative to that. I don't think there's any alternative to that anywhere, but sometimes when things are getting a little bit more chaotic, it almost forces you to take that approach. And transcendental meditation has served as such a tool in terms of PTSD recovery to begin with, but it just happens that TM does much more than alleviate stress and go beyond stress. It actually puts you on a big learning curve, and you're able to process a lot of variables at the same time, make better decisions, focus better. So all these people that have learned TM not only became stress-free, but they actually became active citizens, productive citizens. And again, I'm speaking about TM properly understood and practiced, which is why we're working together to provide more education on transcendental meditation to different groups of people in Armenia, both individuals and groups who might be able to practice it together.